Hey there everybody, it's Below Pursuit here. And I'm going to do the limited gauge challenge. And in the background I'm going to have another Doki Doki podcast going. I was trying to listen to Kirby last time and that video got a copyright strike. Thanks Nintendo.
Episode of Doki Doki Game Club. A retro video game podcast. I am your host, Brandon Fincher, and I am joined today by three of my favorite nephews. Frank Martin.
Hello.
Brian Grogan.
Hello.
And Mr. Joseph Lester. On Doki Doki Game Club, we each take a turn choosing a particular title from video game history, and we announce the selection online so everyone can play along at home. From there, we have 2 weeks to spend with the title, at which point we reconvene today by DuckTales 2 for the Nintendo Entertainment. DuckTales 2 was originally released on the Nintendo Entertainment System in Japan, North America, and Europe in 1993, putting it near the end of the console's lifespan. A Game Boy port would follow later that year. Hello, my little ducky boy. Is
Quack, quack. Hey.
quack, quack, quack. Alright, DuckTales 2. I want to know, who of you has played this game before we decided to play it on the show?
I did play it, yeah. I played it when it came out, not until recently actually, when the Capcom released the Disney Afternoon Collection.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
On
What else is
consoles.
in that one?
Pretty much all their Disney games. There's Tailspin, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers 1 and 2, DuckTales 1 and 2, and I'm kind of forgetting.
Darkwing Duck?
Darkwing Duck, yeah.
Yeah, that's a mighty fine collection. I mean, that Tailspin game's kind of garbage, but the rest of that stuff is...
Tailspin is really bad, but yeah, the other...
Oh yeah, especially I don't have a lot of familiarity with part 2, but I digress. Has anyone not
I had never played it.
Same here, believe it or not. And man, I was a big DuckTales fan as a young lad, and loved part 1 for the NES, loved the cartoon, really loved the movie. You guys remember the movie? Like,
Oh, 5 or fewer?
Yeah. No, it was A+, man. Like a nice high budget. I remember it like looking way different from the TV show. Like you could see the money on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good production. Like the animation's awesome in it.
Well,
Yeah, totally.
The question I have is, who knew somebody that had DuckTales 2 as a kid? Because I didn't know anybody that had it.
I didn't know anyone that knew that DuckTales 2 existed as a kid.
Yeah, right, exactly. As a kid,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Okay, so Joseph, then at what point did you discover DuckTales 2?
Yeah, I mean, it was...
Was that something that, like,
Its
I mean, you
existence-
didn't have it, but...
No, definitely later in life. It was one of those things where I would see mention of it and I'd be like, oh, did that actually came out? You know, because it's just weird because DuckTales was such a highly regarded game, and it still is. And everyone I know knew back then they played it, and has fond memories of it. So it was weird to me that a sequel to such a high-profile game could go so under the radar.
Yeah.
It's true. It must have been that year, you know? Like, I mean, because when did we get SNES? Is that 92?
91.
91.
Yeah. So I mean,
so it's 41.
yeah. God, man, a 16-bit DuckTales game would have been.
Well, it's just like, because I think it's the same thing with Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers too, because that was a game that everyone really enjoyed, the first one, and the second one, by all rights, it's a great game also, and it benefits from Capcom knowing even more the ins and outs of the NES, yet it came even after DuckTales 2.
Right.
Wow. I think the gist of it is that Capcom had a production license with Disney, and they had X number of games that they had to make, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And that didn't extend to the Super NES. It was just NES only. Yeah.
Well, that satisfies that mystery, huh?
Yeah, and I think they just had to build up these games, and I think that's why DuckTales 2 and Rescue Rangers use all the same assets. I think it's just like...
Right, it's pretty much the same engine.
Yeah, I think they just both have new levels. Yeah.
So I'm going to put you guys on the spot and test your ability to recall trivial information at the drop of a dime. Can anyone recall even just a couple of titles that were Disney games for the Super Nintendo?
Yeah,
Aladdin.
Is it called? Oh yeah.
Okay.
What about?
Sure.
Is it called Mickey Mania? What was that?
Oh yeah, the one that you can have like different costumes.
Sorry, give me a second.
House of Illusions, right? Or Castle
No.
Illusions?
No,
That's
the
on
one that came
Genesis.
out on Genesis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, actually, Mickey Mania came out on Genesis too, but there was a Super NES specific.
Magical Adventure or something.
Something like that. Anyway, I can recall the okay, actually, I think Mickey Mania came out on multiple platforms. But yeah, I definitely know, of that game, and there was that the Goof.
Goof Troop.
Oh gosh,
You're a
yeah.
big fan of,
Yeah.
Right.
But the only one that I remember playing and enjoying was Aladdin, I guess.
Yeah, well, Aladdin was a massive success.
Yeah.
And a great fun game. And yeah, we should totally do like a Disney afternoon episode or something one day where we kind of hit some of the Disney movies or even the cartoon series aside from DuckTales. But
Sure.
DuckTales 2, I'm thinking, I'm digging back deep, and man, I don't even know if I was aware that it existed.
No.
And DuckTales 1 was a big fan, but, I was born in 1980, so by the time this came out in 93, I was 13, maybe a little too old to be interested in a system that I had already kind of given up on, and I was so focused on
that's
Super
right, that
Nintendo
costs
at that
through.
point.
Forgot.
I don't know. It's tough to say, but yeah, I don't even know that I was aware of DuckTales 2 until well into my adult life. So.
Yeah, I think I heard about it maybe like a few years ago, to be honest with you.
Yeah, until it's a problem.
Well, I'll tell you how I kind of knew about it for the first time. You go to priceparty.com and go to the Nintendo section and sort by most pricey games. We'll get this a little bit later. It's near the top.
Oh, my word. Spoiler alert, I just skipped ahead. Brian is absolutely right.
Well, that's also, I think by the time that I heard about it was already kind of a sought after, part of the Nintendo library, so there was just no chance of getting it for less than we'll find out later.
So, unless anyone has anything else to add about the history, I'd say it's time for the Back of the Box.
Bless me, bagpipes, he's at it again! Scrooge McDuck is hot on the trail of the richest adventure ever. Pieces of the map to the lost treasure of McDuck have been scattered across the globe, and Scrooge must find them before the greedy flint-hot Cromgold grabs them. It's going to be a race to the finish as both of them try to find the treasure and become the richest duck in the world. Join Scrooge and his nephews as they explore the ancient pyramids of Egypt and do battle with swashbuckling pirates in the Bermuda Triangle. Help them search the haunted halls of an ancient Scottish castle and scale the watery heights of Niagara Falls. Aid Scrooge in his quest for the secret of the island, and you'll gain a final clue to unravel the hidden location of the lost treasure of McDuck.
All right, that was the beautiful retelling of the Back of the Box for DuckTales 2. Joseph, I have to assume that your very British wife aided and assisted you in your dialect coach. Am I correct?
No, she probably just sat in the other room and cringed to herself.
All right. Well, so we're talking about DuckTales 2, and anybody listening to the show, you know, I have to assume you've played some video games before, and DuckTales game in particular. But assuming you haven't, give us a rundown. What's the general summary of what DuckTales 2 is?
Alright, here's a quick track at it. You take the colorful, treasure-hunting world of Disney's DuckTales cartoon and condense its magical essence into a side-scrolling platformer that has Uncle Scrooge hopping and popping on his cane and picking up riches around the world. This sequel is more of the same, with some added mechanics that make the action even more enjoyable, I would say.
I would say as well. But there are some things that worked and didn't work, and I can't wait to dig into that. So, let's kick off talking about the visual style of the game. So, you know, we're talking about a sequel, and I think the best way to probably approach it is if the person listening to this has not played DuckTales 1, kind of a comparison between the two. So, DuckTales in particular, both games, tend to share
This is
a
giving some
rather
decent rewards.
colorful, much similar to the cartoon.
Chip and
If you've seen the
Dale's.
cartoon, you sort of you have a good idea as to what the DuckTales universe looks like. And Capcom, in my opinion, was quite faithful in their 8-bit adaptation of making that a video game. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everyone can be understood who they are. You know, every character, they all stand out. I mean,
Yeah, I think the sprite work is really great in this game.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's a pleasure to look at. It's a pleasure mechanically, which we'll get into in just a second.
Yeah, there's no mistaking what's foreground and background.
No, moving once, no.
And the color palette is great, if not a little incorrect and
Sure.
off-brand. You know.
Is that the DuckTales nerd speaking?
There's a little bit of DuckTales nerd, yeah, sure. You know, everybody hates Webigail, so I won't go. We won't talk about Webigail much, but yeah, anytime I see her, whether it's part 1 or part 2, I'm pretty sure she's like colored red.
Yeah.
Trigger
and
warning.
not pink.
Yeah.
I don't know if the.
You know, like the first thing that comes to mind is.
What about Kirby?
I guess.
It's Kirby, right? Yeah, I mean, it's quite pink, and that's it's the exact same shape. But I don't know. Maybe there's anyone know anything about the technical limitations of what? I mean, because it's a very colorful game, and there are a lot of colors in it.
But it has to be
Webigail
with-
sucks, so maybe maybe they were just like, just make her red. We don't want to have to. Let's
They're
use
like-
that slot for that color slot.
Yeah,
on
she's
something.
probably in a scene that had, you know, the too many colors already, and they're like, is it really worth tweaking this whole level just to get Stupid Webby in here? Right?
Yeah, I think that's basically it, because I think as far as I remember in the game, there's not any pink. Period. Like,
No,
I'm trying to think of
definitely
it.
not. Same thing with the first one, which, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to talk to somebody that maybe has a better understanding of it.
If you worked on this game, please phone in if you
Yeah.
Yeah, we can put you in our next episode, our phone-in section.
Yeah.
So, you know, colorful visual style aside, you know, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't want to kind of stand over the simplicity of how well Capcom excelled at this. I mean, because you think of Mega Man, and we've talked about Mega Man on the show before, despite not really doing a Mega Man episode. And I think it's the same thing. You know, Capcom has an amazing knack. I mean, I don't know. Does anyone have any insight into the developers? If there's any sort of Mega Man crossover
I
in
wouldn't.
terms of?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think the
Yeah.
Capcom team for the NES were the same team for the game. I think. I don't think they had like a huge.
It's probably
team.
not a stretch. Yeah. So, you know, some influence between teams, and
The only thing that I could think of that would be different about this game with the other one. I say
you know, we just talked about color palette just a second ago, and you know, that's a thing within the cartoon as well. You know, being a bit of a DuckTales fan, the story.
You know, it's got that same kind of aesthetic to it, where it's a little more old timey.
Yeah. No, I like the way it looks, and it's something I've always wanted to read a little more of. With Uncle Scrooge, I think his coat is a different color in the cartoon than it is in the.
Yeah, it's red in the old comic.
Yeah, and it's red in the game, right?
Yeah.
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 It's like a
So
reddish
that's kind
orange.
of neat, right? Like, it's strange to think of, that they may have done that intentionally to kind of tie it back into the comic book, but
It's probably just left over from the Webby Red, you know?
Yeah, it might be just because they have to do it. But
I like to think that they originally focused on, okay, we're gonna make Webbigail red, it's very important, and everything else needs to be based around that.
it's like the TMNT game having the turtles in different colors as opposed to having them all the same color green.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Well, that's weird. That's probably for me.
Yeah.
So I think that we would all agree, in addition to the
All right, well,
aesthetics of this game, the thing that
I was
really
going to
stands
say
out
way to go
about
about it,
is
but it worked.
Uncle Scrooge's cane pogo, right? I mean, it's kind of like Capcom always did a great job of when it came to making their NES games, their big franchise titles always had something that made that game distinct. You know, I think of Capcom, I think of Bionic Commando, I think of Mega Man, with
Little
the
Nemo?
Mega Buster. I think of Little Nemo, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much every game had its own core mechanic that would stand out as opposed to just being a generic platformer.
Yeah, stand out and were all fun to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they all seemed distinctly unique. It wasn't just platforming, and it was fun to play. I don't know. Joseph, is there anything you care to elaborate on as far as how that cane mechanic works?
Well,
Maybe explain it to someone that maybe has never played the game before.
yeah, so, Uncle Scrooge being the rich, hobbling uncle that he is, so he carries his cane everywhere with him, and he mostly uses it, I mean, he has other uses, but mostly it's like a jumping mechanic where you can kill enemies with it when you're in the air, you basically land on your cane and then bounce across the stage on it as long as it's out. And this gets you over spikes and other obstacles, it lets you jump higher, and you can also use it to swing at blocks and destroy them or knock them across the screen. So it has a few, and in this one you can actually use it to pull items too.
Yeah, I was going to mention, you talked about mechanics that are slightly different, and this game does a pretty good job of adding to that, the core mechanic without going too far with it. I mean, I guess they could have really gotten crazy with it and tried to turn it into go-go gadgets. You know what I mean?
Well, they also
give it a fun.
They also make it a little easier to use because I believe in the first one you have to hold down to use your cane while you're down A and B, I think, and in this one you don't need to.
Really? I was doing it on an instant. Sure.
Yeah, I wonder. I just automatically did it.
Yeah, no, so I did most of the time, but I'm pretty sure that I actually read afterwards that I didn't need to do that. Yeah, that's worth exploring again and playing again to confirm. So
All right,
we'll see, even though I'm quoting myself right now.
Well, in addition to the cane mechanics having a slight change in how they operate, this game's sort of stage structure is a little different. People that have played the first one will recall that Uncle Scrooge, the game essentially has a menu, stage selection menu based around Scrooge and the boys, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's just Scrooge.
No, I think the boys.
It's all
over there in front of the big computer.
Sitting in front of a massive,
Bionic Commando
terminal thing. Yeah, and then you get to select the stage that you want to start with, and also very similar to Mega Man, and that you've got an NES game giving you the option of levels and the order in which you want to tackle them. Unlike Mega Man, though, you can do them in any order and not suffer any sort of ramification because fighting and defeating a boss doesn't give you anything to help as you go forward. It's essentially just, both games are all really about collecting treasure. I mean, that's the core, that's the heart of the character anyhow.
Well, the only difference is that you find out, what's his name? What's that guy that's scattered throughout the levels?
Launchpad.
No.
Not Launchpad. Was it Gizmo? Or no?
Yeah.
Gyro.
Sorry. Gyro. So many names. Gyro, you can find him in three of the levels, and he has a power-up for your game. And it's not really that big of a difference, but it will affect how you can get through certain areas.
Yeah, it unlocks secret areas, different levels.
Yeah, because like one of them allows you to land to pogo break, different stronger blocks. Another lets you what is it? Just hit them, maybe.
Yeah, do the
hit stronger blocks, and one is
pull stronger, pull bigger blocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't use that last two.
I think there's one.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's one or two places that you can actually use that pull for like extra.
Yeah, definitely. And it sounds like a slight thing we're talking about. I mean, it's, especially if you know what we're talking about with the game, but like, man, like it's really neat, especially if you've played the game. Like, this is an instance where I have played DuckTales 1 so much as a kid, and I have the game memorized, and I can more or less run it with my eyes closed at this point. And to play a continuation of that with the same engine and the same assets, and more or less the same quality of gameplay, but then to see these little things, it makes maybe a greater impact than it would to somebody that was just a little more of a casual fan about it. Yeah, I don't know, I really like that aspect of playing it.
Personally, I just wish they had played it more, because it seems like there's only like a couple of areas that you need access to. I wish I would have played more like a Mega Man style, where maybe some whole levels could only be done by using a certain
that would be cool. Yeah.
I feel like it was.
I know what you mean, but at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily want this to be like a Bionic Commando situation, much less to Bionic Commando, but where you would enter a level and it's like, oh, I need to exit the level because I don't have paintball,
That's just no fun, but I mean, I guess like,
I just feel it was underutilized.
No, I would agree with that. But now my mind has wandered off to Bionic Commando, and I'm thinking about in Bionic Commando, that is kind of like a buzzkill. I mean, it doesn't happen a lot, It doesn't happen a lot, but it is there, and I think you still could have like found a happy medium to where you needed something to progress forward. I mean, I guess you would. The only way that I can think of, at least, in order to make certain stages dependent on other stages, would be to insist that the stages be tackled in a particular order, which takes away the fun. Yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe it's
no. I do see what you're talking about. It could have been used more, but yeah, like being it overused.
Because you can go through the whole game without getting any power-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Still get the normal ending.
Which is actually kind of cool that you can go through the whole game like that. But in addition to just pulling items, so we were talking about the one that lets you pull larger objects, and the funny thing is right after that, of course, they have a large object you can pull, and there aren't any more in the game that you need to pull.
Right. It's not hidden or anything.
Yeah, it's not like you don't have to go looking for it. But one thing that I thought was kind of funny, and it's kind of superfluous, like you don't need it that much in the game, but it would have been fun, is right after that there's this flower that you can pull that springs you across a long gap. And I think if they had more of that would have been fun.
Yeah, I think that's the only one, right?
Yeah.
It's a shame. That's what I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff that could have been like, oh man, I need more of that, and less just like an open world with more hooking. Because there's a lot of hooking.
Alright, two more.
Like that one is that's almost like another new mechanic they kind of put up at the very end, and they're like, save it for DuckTales 3.
Well, I think, talking of the other mechanics that differentiate from DuckTales 1, I was very happy to see that you could do something with your money.
Yeah, totally. Sure. That's cool. Brian, can you give those?
Yeah. So once you complete a level, or actually go out from it via Launchpad and Quack, you get to actually spend your money on extra lives, a power up that gives you an extra health bar. I think you get to do, or health,
you can do
health
2 of
dot.
those.
Yeah, 2 of those, but not right off the bat. I think you have to complete a certain amount of levels for the second one.
Yep.
I'm not exactly sure, but there's a crystal ball that lets you continue if you like lose all your lives, which I think that's actually, at first I was kind of intimidated. I was like, wow, this is kind of hardcore versus I don't know, DuckTales 1.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Did you actually like completely? Was there continue in DuckTales 1? Can't remember. I can't say. I remember it being fairly casual, so I don't think so. But there's some other, there's weird, so if you die, if you lose a life in this game, you lose all your money on that stage. So there was a safe you could buy, and that would let. It wasn't really explained very well. It says you let you save all your money.
Oh, that's what it was. I never bothered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it expires after one use, right? Like,
Right.
It dies, yeah.
Okay, so this is the Dark Souls reference. It's the Ring of Sacrifice of this game.
There you go. There you go.
It all ties back together.
Thanks for that. Yeah. But like the way it's explained, it says it lets you save all your money. I was like, wait, do I not get to save any money if I complete the stage? But
It does. It's very unclear the way they explain it, but yeah, I mean, you basically nailed the description before that of what it really is.
Yeah, I gotta wonder if that's a lost in translation thing, like if the Japanese version is more,
yeah, could be. And then the final item you could buy was a piece of it.
Seriously?
Yeah. I think that's actually a good segue. If you want to
Yeah,
talk
I'm just
about
gonna
that,
keep
because,
on fighting.
I would like to move on into a level.
I can go back and do the time requirement later.
One of with the map pieces, if I'm not mistaken, that's tied into the end of the game. Maybe we will say that. But with the stage design, so I think you cover most of it in that dramatic retelling of the back of the box, but maybe we can get one more rundown of the different stages available.
Sure. So you can choose from, just straight from the outside, you can choose from Niagara Falls, a pirate ship that's stuck in the Bermuda Triangle, the island of Mu, Egypt, so it's like a pyramid level, and a Scottish castle. Each one has their own boss, their own like cool themed boss.
I got a question though. Is it Niagara Falls, Canada, or Niagara Falls, the U.S.?
Good question, right? Why is there a barrel riding in that stage?
That is it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, wow. So, anybody have any stages really jump out to you? I mean, because you can pick them in any order, I'm not going to ask you to recall the order in which you picked them, but...
To be 100% fair, I didn't enjoy any of the levels except Egypt. I found they were all pretty generic and
I enjoyed all the levels.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that I would say I didn't enjoy any of them. I would say the stages collectively did not have the same amount of character and charm that the level design in DuckTales 1 had.
I felt like that. Yeah. That is my feeling of the game altogether. I'm going to talk about it at the end, but I felt like the whole game didn't have as much into it as the first one did, and I don't know if it was just because the team was maybe smaller, or they just rushed it out, or I don't know, but it just feels less.
It's not the same. It's conflicting to say that, and then for us to be able to identify, well, somebody thought enough about making a sequel to include new game mechanics.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, they could have very well just thrown that part in. And I mean, depending on your perspective, maybe they did, because they really didn't utilize it.
Is there no way to
jump
jump across all this crap?
Didn't get fleshed out in the
Properly.
in the office, but yeah, I don't know. As far as level design goes, I like the stages. In particular, I think my favorite might have been Scotland.
Yeah, that's a great stage.
Yeah, Scotland kind of reminded me of Transylvania,
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
And that was, despite being a kind of an annoying stage, a DuckTales 1 stage, like, I still like it a lot. It's maybe not as fun to play through and navigate in DuckTales 1, and I'm talking about the stage of DuckTales 1, but Transylvania, the Amazon is probably the most fun to play through, in my opinion, but and I don't know that there's necessarily, I mean, I guess maybe Niagara would be
Niagara's pretty close to it.
Yeah. I did like Egypt a lot too. Probably my second favorite bunch, and I think that
Mew was pretty cool. I like Mew because of the Easter Island.
The heads.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was like Easter Island duck looking at Mew. Pretty cool.
I'm gonna say that controversially that I like most of these levels more than the levels in DuckTales. Watch out. I don't know. I think as far as being designed around secrets, they're really interesting. Like I don't know if you guys went to the secret room in New, where you can drain the water and like reveal more of the island.
Yeah, they're really
Yeah, so
cheap
like
on the
there's so when you first meet one of the nephews,
That's
you
weird.
can like he's standing above these different colored blocks. They're all green, I think, except for two. Which
already, I thought there might be a puzzle there, but I never went.
Yeah, so it's not actually in that room, but if you go to a secret room behind Launchpad in the area, then there's an identical looking puzzle on the bottom floor, and you like bring the two blocks that you saw on that earlier with your pogo, and then pulling these blocks into them, and when you do that, it drains the
Oh well, I got the good rewards
so you
anyway.
can explore like the bottom of the,
So I just missed
temple or whatever it is,
level?
and find the secret treasure map there. And it's kind of cool, like it ties into earlier.
That's all I
you
missed.
get a warning earlier in the game. It's like when the. Do you remember the name? Who's the caveman? Does anyone remember his name?
Oh man, that was like a late series character, and he's kind of awful.
Well, like he basically like bum rushes you and saves you in this one area in like another secret.
Really? So he's in the game?
Yeah, he's in the game like very briefly, and like I'm pretty sure it's him. He's the only caveman that I know of in the series.
Bubba Dunk.
Yeah.
Bubba.
Yeah. Well, so when he saves you, you kind of think nothing of it because it seems kind of poorly translated. He tells you that your mask is a trap, and you'll get stuck. So like, it turns out that it's in Mu where you, after you explore the bottom area, you break through. You have to break tons of blocks to get to this treasure map piece. And when you get out, if you don't take the top route to break your way out the top way, then you'll get stuck down there and have to die. Yeah. So it's like. It's a little, clue to later that I thought was kind of cool, and
that's really cool.
Yeah, a bunch of, and then like I'm not gonna harp on everything too long about every little detail, but like in the Scottish castle, and if you have all the maps when you find it, then it takes you to a bonus basement stage, and that's like there's a different take on the boss of that area who has a different move. Wow. And like so you have to beat him,
and that's what I was gonna say. I think the levels in general were less inspired than DuckTales 1. However, they had this perhaps more inspired secret area that
it's almost like they focus on that more. Like focus on the secrets more than the actual levels.
I think on like a first or second blind playthrough, you're not gonna find there's a lot of secrets that I was not gonna find whatsoever.
Right.
I think this game had a lot of potential replayability. It's a shame that I don't think anybody did, but I could see if this came out, around the time of DuckTales 1, I could see rumors at school, people saying, there's a secret area in this. I think that would have been really cool to uncover that with your friends or just play it for hours and hours and hours. That I no longer have. But yeah, if you look at the if you look at the game facts or whatever, I did a second run with spoilers, and there's a substantial amount of secret areas.
Yeah, so there's like a bit of a half of a game extra.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I do think one thing I think is cool about it is that it's not to the level where you would need to call the Doki Doki power line to just waste your 900 hot minutes on that to figure it out. You can't find it just by searching thorough in the game, so it's not really an unfair secret kind of thing.
I will say that playing DuckTales 1, and I think of that Transylvania stage in particular, has some trickery involved. If you'll recall, that's a stage that has the mirrors set up, and so you enter them, and you can really get yourself turned around if you're not familiar with the game. And it's so that sort of tradition of puzzles in these games. It's something that's easy to forget because it is an easy game, and you can kind of blaze through it. And you don't really have to fuss with that too much, with the exception of I guess maybe the Transylvania stage. But I like that aspect of it, and I like that it does really give a game like this, especially from the NES era, some legs to keep running with. And I could see myself playing it again at some point.
Yeah, one part that I don't think I would have actually figured out on my own without seeing some spoilers on that. Did you guys see? I guess Joseph, did you see you could do this golf swing in the air?
Yes. But it's very finicky and difficult.
Yeah, it's weird.
So this is one of my big complaints about the game, and I don't have that many, but you have to basically because the same button does the swing as it does the pogo bounce. So you actually have to kind of push forward to get and if you move forward against the wall, Scrooge will get in his golf swing animation, and then if you jump after that and then press B, then he's more likely to do the swing in the air. Yeah, it's kind of
there's an area in Moo, I believe it was Moo, or was it Niagara? I can't remember. Where you have to do that golf swing and break some invisible blocks that are on the top of the screen.
Yeah, that's a Niagara.
Okay. Yeah. Look that up because that's really weird. And I was like, I just thought I was like, there's no way I would have figured this out in a million times.
Well, that's you would figure it out because it's a lot like the Secrets in DuckTales 1 where you can bounce to the stage, you know, but like
you can't see more well hidden. Like, I was expecting you to do that when it wasn't the intro. I was like, okay, you know, they do that here. And I think it's one of those things like, yeah, man, if this was around when I was a kid, like you know, it would have been a legend. Now I can get over there.
Well, you know, before we move on from level design, I'm kind of interested in thoughts on boss fights from you guys. So with DuckTales 1, the boss fights are just an absolute pushover. I mean, you know, as a little kid, you know, as an adult, it's just as really into it. It's kind of there as a set piece kind of game to kind of give you a cap on the stage. Do you guys have any thoughts on the differences in bosses? Because I mean, I feel personally in DuckTales 2, they're a little bit, some of the bosses are a little more difficult. And that might just be because I'd never played them before. I mean, not a lot. Obviously, they didn't give me any real trouble, but they've got a few more tricks up their sleeves.
Yeah, I mean, I thought all the bosses were insanely boring, except the golden one, which was kind of okay. But the rest of them was just avoid attack, jump on them, avoid attack, jump on them. So.
Yeah, pretty much the same exact design, except for the one. I think the one you're mentioning, Frank, was the one that's like is it Moo?
I think it's in Moo, yeah.
Robo-Duck. Yeah, and it's also kind of the most annoying boss just because it goes back and forth. And then when it's on either side, it'll either shoot its arm or stomp to make blocks fall down, and you can only hit it with the blocks that fall down.
Right.
Yeah, and you have to expose its core when you hit it, and you bounce on that.
That's still a thing, though. I mean, like, that's still even though it's a simple strategy, it is still a strategy.
Yeah.
And I still feel like for a game that is based on a cartoon for young kids, like, that's still kind of neat. It gives you something to do, it gives you part of the environment to interact with.
Oh, yeah, it's way more involved than any of the other bosses.
Yeah, because this is the only boss I went like, okay, this is a strategy as opposed to waiting it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I liked the boss interaction with the environment. I thought was more so in this game than in the first one. And another good example of that is in Egypt, where you have a pharaoh, I guess, or some sort of character.
Mummy Duck.
Oh, the mummy, yeah.
I don't know if that's the official boss name. I just said it.
Okay.
Who is, he's sinking into the sand, like sort of quicksand, and like popping up in another spot, and like shooting at you, and disappearing again, and I don't know. I just think of.
But you could see him. You could see him in the sand. It wasn't even like.
No, you totally could. You totally could. And I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not saying it's even great. I'm just saying that in DuckTales 1, I don't know how long it's been since you played the first one, but those bosses are just. I mean, you just beat them almost instantly. They might as well just die. Just walk into the boss arena and they should just die because,
the difficulty is not
high. Oh my. Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is like the giant rat, on the moon stage. Yeah. It's like, man, you got a couple of platforms and just wait for him to get out of the way, and then you hit him, and then same thing with is it Himalaya?
The Yeti.
No, Yeti's a little tougher because of the stuff falling from the ceiling. I'm thinking of the stage with the mole man. Like the.
Oh yeah. The mines, right?
Oh, Dinner's already here, huh?
African mines, yeah. Yeah, like that was another one that was just like.
I said Dinner's already here, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You just sit on the table right there.
Land and then you pop them, but so this game had a bit more.
You pop the lids off those.
Some things to dodge, and
the pirate captain had all the rings they could.
I guess, yeah.
But that was annoying though because there was
annoying.
There was no strategy for it,
kind of
and
just
like
set him
the
on
boss
top.
strategy
I
for this fight. So for people that haven't played this,
Oh, set
if
him
you
on
can
top.
imagine like
Yeah.
a traditional
Just
NES
like it,
Capcom boss arena, like a Mega
And
Man game, big
can
square
you
room.
Can you do one more favor?
But
Yeah.
You
there's
see my
rings
sunflower seeds
everywhere,
over there?
like
Could you
a
open that
ton of
bag up?
rings, and if you jump up, you're pretty much guaranteed to click into one of them. And that's really the only time in this boss fight that you're subject to any damage coming from that boss. And so it just, to me, it felt like an annoying obstacle where I could have just like, if you know, if it was real world, I wouldn't click on this thing. I would just like walk over and beat that guy. But yeah, I don't know.
I love Brandon sitting there being like, man, if this were the real world, that would be
If this were the real world and I was original,
Alright, sorry, give me a minute.
going around on a cane.
With real humanoid dogs like Howard the dog.
Yeah.
Cartoon.
Right?
It's fake does.
If we're gonna talk about bosses, though, let's talk about the best boss in the game, which is the last boss, which is the T-1000.
D1, yeah.
Oh man, that Terminator 2 reference.
The best part, yeah, they don't even like hide it. It's D1000. It's Flintheart Glomgold's robot form.
Because like it's even like Mega Man-esque. Like when I first saw that boss, I was like, oh my god, this is a Mega Man boss. Like the way it like moves, it kind of looks like it kind of melts like the Yellow Devil kind of and stuff like that. It just I had a good chuckle, and it's an actual challenging boss because he will hit you.
There's a timing.
Well, okay, sorry. Challenging to the rest of the boss.
Some, yeah, I would agree with some. Yeah, because I mean, he's just got those two attacks, right?
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like stay away. And
Yeah, just stay away.
I will say that his timing is a little cheap at times. Like it seems like he's capable of like speeding up those kicks, and you know.
He'll usually get you when he's like grappling for the ceiling. But I mean,
which is really the only way you can hit him is from
the top.
You know, on top of the
Well,
sky.
he changes up the timing it takes, like, because sometimes he'll wait a second before he goes back up to the ceiling, and other times he'll transition right after coming back down.
Yeah.
So,
And it feels like there's not really any rhyme or reason to it.
No.
Yeah. So.
It might be RNG.
Yeah.
Just like the real T-1000.
I feel like you're going to go through the trouble. I mean, they honestly, whoever decided that they wanted to make this D1000 character said, okay, I want to make a stretchy character, right? A character who has an elongated kick and punch. So I'm going to do that, and then like didn't really do anything with it besides this punch and kick. And it was like it would have been cool to have them. I mean, if you're going to go through the trouble of naming it D1000, which may have been like a localization thing or whatever.
How can it not be? You know what I mean?
How can it not be a localization?
No, how can it not be an obvious ripoff of the T-1000?
Oh yeah, for sure. But my reason for mentioning it is if you're going to make it a T-1000, a great part of the character in Terminator 2
have it kill your parents.
Yeah, Todd and Janelle should die.
Can't spend all day on this.
No, but the thing is that T-1000 can like change its appearance.
Sure.
It can do a bunch of awesome. That same thought. Yeah. I mean, that would have been a lot of fun. I mean, some of those bosses are very dependent on the state of the arena and being able to justify, say, giant rock falling from the ceiling or your hooks and rings. But yeah, I don't know. I have to feel like I can't help but feel like something could have done with that. But
Could have become the fire quacker.
it could have.
Is that its legit name?
I think so.
Oh my
God,
god.
it's not. It's not a big old.
No, I think it actually is, but I can't confirm.
That firecracker is the coolest design. It's kind of looks like a green kind of.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Fiery, it kind of looks like a fiery victory thing, but it has like a duck, like everything else.
And nothing says genie like Niagara Falls.
Then it must be.
Really, not have been like any GIFs.
Well,
you know, or
it is on the Canadian side, and it's a lot more mystical here. So
yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that explains a lot then. Thank you.
Beyond the wall.
Well, before we let's maybe transition from level design talk into music. So, depending on your dedication to the world of video game nerddom, you have a certain familiarity with the DuckTales 1 soundtrack.
Man, that's nice.
I think arguably the Moon Stage is one of the most recognizable pieces of
I don't have a better role on it.
video game music. because it's melody, but also it's depending on how involved you are in the internet. Lots of BGM bands, I have to assume you listen to this usually things like the mini bosses and whatnot. Lots of bands have done covers of DuckTales 1 music.
But even in popular culture, like in meme culture, as cringy as that might sound, they use the song in meme video. It's a very popular song.
Really?
Outside of
Everyone got a fight.
I refer to Frank for all of my so I mentioned that to kind of lay a foundation for the timelessness of the DuckTales 1 soundtrack. Now, since we all sort of said in this statement that we had no familiarity with DuckTales 2 as kids because of various circumstances, I guess I'm going on here. My question to you is...
Yeah, if I remember right, his other attack doesn't poison you.
And do you think that it's as strong a soundtrack as DuckTales 1? And if the answer to that is no, then I have a part 2.
Absolutely. I did not like this song.
No, it might not matter.
There are two songs that I like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's two songs that I like. There's Egypt and it's kind of like a fusion-y song right before the
Alright,
D1000
here we go.
or the D1000.
Man, clean your ears, dog.
Nah, man, there was no leads. It was very boring. Like all of these songs were so uninspired. Especially compared to the first. They were not.
I don't want to bust your chops, but to say that there's no leads, video game music is all leads.
Yeah, and exactly. But like, it's all like just rhythm sections. That's how I felt. Like,
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't think it holds up as well. The other two you guys chime in. Brian, what are your thoughts on the soundtrack for part 2 as it stacks up to part 1?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was really that special. I can't say I didn't enjoy it, but it wasn't DuckTales 1. I can't say that I really took it apart enough to say why.
I don't know. I'd be curious to see who composed this. Actually,
It's Minare Fuji and Akihiro Atamatsu.
Oh shit, man. No,
Right off the top of my head, I don't know what
like crap, I messed up the last attack.
because I feel like they just basically took the sound samples and like the programming of the first game and just gave it to people that they composed. I don't know. That's how I feel.
Okay, see now I'm willing to pause long enough for you to look that up because I would like to know for sure. But Joseph, you seem like you out of the three of you guys that aren't me. You seem to be the one that's maybe a little more favorably leaning towards it being a decent enough soundtrack. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a totally more than serviceable soundtrack, and I think it's just so...
Alright, well,
in the shadows
good luck
of
trying to
DuckTales
get
1,
under
it's
the
impossible to objectively look
150
at it.
seconds, but it's
You
definitely
really
beautiful.
can't, because literally this whole
Alright,
episode
thanks for
I've been sitting here
watching.
and I've had DuckTales
Bye.
1 songs in my